Hello, and welcome to the History of Natural Science Museum here at the University of Michigan. My name is Ben Hazelton, a student at the University of Michigan, and if you are listening to this, you are probably standing under the pterosaur fossil hanging from the ceiling. If not, I'd advise you to go check it out because it's really interesting. Now, if you're in the right place, congratulations, you have found one of my favorite exhibits in the museum. Let me take you on a journey to the past. Consider a time when extremely large reptiles ruled the land and flying reptiles ruled the sky. The pterosaur are a mysterious species because how they went about everyday life is still unknown to many scientists and researchers. The first pterosaur fossil was found 200 years ago, and fossils have been found on every continent besides Antarctica. The pterosaur evolved into many different forms, and there have been approximately 100 species discovered thus far. Some species of pterosaur are as small as a sparrow, while others are as large as a small airplane. The first thing you will notice about the pterosaur is its wings, and if you take a look you will notice the wing of a pterosaur is not like any other wing that is around in today's living organisms, birds and bats. Pterosaurs basically flew on the strength of their pinky. The wing was formed from an elongated fourth digit or finger that had a web of skin stretched from the torso to the tip of the elongated finger. Bats have a similar wing, but their skin is stretched from the second through fifth digits. The wing of a bird is even more unique because the flight surface is composed of feathers and not a skin membrane. The range of a pterosaur wingspan is 10 inches to 40 feet and has caused a couple of different theories to emerge as to how they walked around on land. Some scientists believe that pterosaurs had the ability to walk upright on their back legs, while other scientists believe that they walked on all four limbs. The stance of the pterosaur greatly affects how the creature could fly. Researchers believe that the smaller sized pterosaurs could launch themselves into the air with their back legs, much like common birds today. The trouble comes in with the larger pterosaurs. The largest was a pterosaur called Quetzalcoatlus, which had a wingspan between 30 and 40 feet and weighed around 200 pounds. There was no way this large flying reptile could launch itself just off of two legs with that immense size. Scientists predict that it achieved flight by jumping from all four limbs. Research done by Michael Habib tested this theory, and his results were somewhat conclusive. He analyzed the shape of the pterosaur arm bones and discovered that they could withstand stresses far greater than what they experienced through flight. There had to be a reason for the organism to evolve stronger arm bones to withstand stress, and to use them to propel itself into the air is a possible reason, but just because it could have doesn't mean it did. There is just too much that is still unknown about pterosaurs to come to a solid conclusion on how the massive beasts controlled the sky. There are many other differences between the individual species of pterosaur, but what sets the pterosaur apart from anything else is the extravagant head ornaments that each sported. The crest, researchers believe, played an important role during pterosaur's lifetime. The crests varied greatly between the forms of pterosaurs and were used for different reasons. Most scientists and researchers believe that the crests function in a similar manner as a male peacock's tail feathers do, which is to attract members of the opposite sex. An adult pterosaur fossil has been found with its fossilized eggs. This indicates that the fossil is the remains of a female pterosaur and is supported by the shape of its pelvis. The pelvis is much larger in the female pterosaur fossil compared to the other pterosaur fossils. Also, there is no evidence of a head crest, meaning that this specific species of pterosaur had sexual dimorphism, the difference in form between males and females of the same species present in the population. The males had ornamental head crests and the females did not. This indicates that the males used the crest in sexual displays to attract a mate. Another fact researchers have been able to discover is that crests tend to appear when the organism hits puberty, which is a strong supporting fact that the crest was used to attract mates because it does not appear until the organism is ready to mate. Researchers have discovered a rare fossil of a juvenile pterosaur that did not have a crest. The other fossils of pterosaurs that had been previously found were of adults. This was a key discovery for researchers to further prove that the crests were used to attract mates of the opposite sex. This is probably the primary function of the head crest, but it could have been used for other advantages as well. The pterosaur is an interesting species with many different evolutionary traits than that of the other organisms that were living during the same time period and of organisms today. There is nothing else like it around today, and they would have been truly a magnificent sight to see. A great deal is still unknown about the kings and queens of the air, which is because scientists have nothing else to truly compare them to, because they aren't like anything else. The pterosaur was one of the first organisms to develop the ability to fly, which has proved advantageous in other species. The idea of the crest is pretty amazing because they are so foreign, but the function makes sense as far as how it helped the pterosaur survive based off the possibility of using it to attract mates. The biggest key to survival is reproduction, which is most likely the key function of the crest because species have the ability to tell the difference between each other, and the males use their crests in sexual displays to attract mates. Fossils have been found all over the world, which is probably attributed to their ability to fly. They were able to fly for long periods of time over extremely long distances, which allowed them to travel around the entire world. Because they could spread out to many different environments, they evolved different physical characteristics that separated the different species of pterosaur. The complete truth of the pterosaur life will never be fully understood because there are quite a few theories that all seem plausible but will never be able to be proven because the fossilized remains are so sparse and fragile. One thing is for certain about pterosaurs. Because of their great ability to fly vast distances and the diversity of the species, they truly were the rulers of the sky.